Hello, PW Torch YouTube. My name is Stephanie Chase, and I am here with the All Elite wrap up for Thursday, April 6th, bringing you all the biggest news in AEW. Now, last night was AEW Dynamite, and Tony Khan had promised us a huge announcement, and boy, did he deliver. In my opinion, on this side of the pond, because Tony Khan announced that AEW will be bringing All In to London on August 27th, their first show outside of North America, their first show in Europe, their first show here in the UK where I am, and it will be at Wembley Stadium, an absolutely iconic venue that everyone all around the world has heard of, and it holds 90,000 people. Now, this is major news for people outside of America, people here in the UK. This is what we've been waiting for. I myself have asked Tony so many times, on like a broken record, about when he's bringing AEW to the UK. You know, he made an announcement last year. It was in November where he said that there would be news on AEW coming to the UK. We then just found out London, and then everything was silent for what felt like the longest time. But it turns out that what Tony was working on was the most massive thing possible, bringing AEW to Wembley Stadium. Wembley is known for so many things. It's where Live Aid was held in the 80s. It's where the Freddie Mercury tribute concert was held, and it's also where SummerSlam 1992 was held. Now, this current Wembley Stadium that we have over here is not the exact same Wembley Stadium as where those events were, but it's on the same site and has the same name. So it's very interesting that Tony has gone so bold here for AEW's UK debut. You know, when they first came to Canada, he was very modest. He didn't give them a pay-per-view. He is now doing Forbidden Door in Canada, but I think he was too modest with his debut in Canada. I think he was also too modest with his debut in Los Angeles, but this is the exact opposite. This is the most out there, over the top that you can be. You know, WWE, they're running Money in the Bank over in London in July, and they're running it at the O2. That has capacity of 20,000. Clash at the Castle's attendance was announced at over 62,000. So a 90 somewhere that can potentially hold 90,000 people, that is really expecting a lot. Tony said it will be one of the biggest shows in the history of the company. He said that they're celebrating 100 years of Warner Brothers, 100 years of Wembley Stadium, and 5 years since the original All In, which was held before AEW even existed. That was something that Cody, the Young Bucks, and Kenny did themselves with help from Ring of Honor, but that was before AEW existed. That's really what led to the creation of AEW. Tony Khan was there himself. And for those wondering about the rights to the All In name, they were held by the Young Bucks, who actually gave them over to AEW in 2020. So he's been hanging on to that name and not using it for 3 years now. Obviously waiting for something as important as this to crack it out again. So there's a couple of unknown things. Firstly, we don't know confirmed the status of All Out, the pay-per-view that AEW annually holds on Labor Day weekend, which is the first weekend in September. That's always in Chicago. We had heard that they were trying to move that to the United Center. Now, there has been a lot of speculative reporting saying that All Out is definitely happening. So it does look like we could have back-to-back events. We could have All In one weekend, then All Out the next weekend, which is also very ambitious. Another thing to note about it is the press release for All In did not describe it as a pay-per-view. Now, I went back and I looked at the press release for Forbidden Door. That was explicitly stated to be a pay-per-view. So that leads to some question about where this show is going to air. There's every chance it could be on traditional pay-per-view in the US and on Fight TV over here in the UK, or they could do something different. They could, because they're going to be working with a time difference between the US and the UK. So maybe it will be aired as a TV special on TBS or TNT, or maybe on the upcoming Warner Brothers streaming service or HBO Max. What makes me wonder about that is the fact that they mentioned the 100th anniversary of Warner Brothers, and to say that the show was going to be celebrating that is quite odd if it's going to just be on, pay-per-view rather on Warner Brothers television. But we don't know for sure about that. And then they also heavily touted the UK viewership with ITV, which makes me wonder if they want to put it on as a special event on television here in the UK using that ITV partnership. So there are some questions to be answered still about everything, what they're going to do. But this is so exciting, and it's something UK fans, I like myself, have been waiting for a very long time, and it is going to be absolutely massive. But as if that wasn't enough on Dynamite, we also got the debut of Jay White, Switchblade. Jay White, formerly of New Japan Pro Wrestling, made his AEW debut, ending weeks and weeks of endless speculation about where he would end up. It was heavily reported that he was going to WWE, and then last week it seemed that people were changing their tune on that when he didn't show up at WrestleMania. We were hearing that there hadn't been talk of Jay White backstage at WWE or anything like that. Well, he made his decision. He's with AEW. He debuted right at the beginning of Dynamite. We were going to have a match between Ricky Starks and Juice Robinson, and then Switchblade's music hit, his New Japan music. He ran out, he attacked Ricky Starks and aligned himself with his old Bullet Club stablemate Juice Robinson. And then afterwards, we got the traditional Tony Khan tweet and graphic confirming that Jay White is now All Elite. Really, what I thought was notable was him keeping his New Japan music and keeping his Switchblade nickname, stuff that wouldn't happen if he went to WWE. Obviously, AEW fans have seen Jay before. They saw him around the time of Forbidden Door when he was IWGP Heavyweight Champion. But Jay White now officially a member of the AEW roster going forward. Another new signing we have is Nigel McGuinness, who appeared on Supercard of Honor over WrestleMania weekend to do commentary. He back where he belongs, back at home at Ring of Honor. And Tony Khan, before Dynamite, confirmed that Nigel McGuinness had signed to AEW. He was All Elite. We don't know where his permanent place is going to be going forward, whether he'll be only with Ring of Honor doing commentary or whether we'll see him again in AEW. But Nigel McGuinness, All Elite, and he was actually there helping Tony make the announcements of the UK shows on Dynamite, which was a really nice touch. People over here love Nigel McGuinness, as I'm sure people all over the world do too. But that's another really great signing for AEW. Another great hire for AEW was also revealed before Dynamite. PW Insider reported that Adam Hopkins is now working for AEW. Hopkins was the vice president of communications for WWE. He actually worked with WWE for over 20 years. And he left in January. People were like very shocked by his departure from WWE. So it looks like he's over now in AEW, helping out with the PR side of things. I think that's a really, really good move. The PR that Tony had been using are the team from the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm pretty sure of that. And I think they can get stretched a little bit thin. So it's really great to see someone like Adam that's been in the wrestling business for such a long time now come on board. It's a really great backstage hire for AEW. Won't change anything on screen, but it is really good for the company, and it's really good to see Tony making moves like this, hiring these great people for the non-television roles. Also on Dynamite, we saw FTR win the tag team championships from the Guns, which means that they are staying in AEW. They had put their careers on the line after months of speculation about their future, months of tweets from Dax and podcasts, clippings from Dax as well. We now know that they are staying in AEW. And after Dynamite, it was confirmed that they have signed new contracts. Someone who we haven't seen on AEW television in a while, Andrade, spoke to Lucha Libre online, and he said that his contract will soon expire. He was seen at the WWE Hall of Fame accompanying his wife Charlotte, but while speaking to Lucha Libre online, he said, "I'm with AEW to make it clear, soon my contract will expire. I had a tear in my chest. I got surgery in November. I was out for 4 months, but soon I will be back. I was at the Hall of Fame accompanying my wife, and to be next to a great friend, Rey Mysterio. He's a symbol for all Latinos, Rey Mysterio." He made his debut for AEW in June 2021. He later said that he was under a 3-year deal, but he hasn't wrestled since the Casino ladder match at All Out last September. Then there was some backstage problems with Sammy Guevara where he was sent home, and then he opted to have the surgery. So who knows when we'll see Andrade back on TV, if we ever do, and how long he will be there. if he does return. And finally, let's end things by looking ahead to Friday, which is a double header for AEW. They are presenting Rampage and Battle of the Belts, both live. And on Rampage, we will see Julia Hart take on Anna Jay. Hook defending his FTW title again against Ethan Page after the interference in the match from Matt Hardy. The Acclaimed Matt Menard and Angelo Parker will be an 8-man tag team action. Swerve Strickland has an announcement, and Darby Allin takes on Lee Moriarty. Then at Battle of the Belts, Orange Cassidy will defend the International Championship against Dralistico. Jade Cargill takes on Billy Starks for the TBS Championship, and the Lucha Bros defend their newly won Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship against QT Marshall and Powerhouse Hog. Now that's all for me. Don't forget to subscribe to the PW Torch YouTube. If you want to see more from me, you can subscribe to my YouTube at Stephanie Chase Wrestling, where I review Dynamite, do live streams and other stuff like that. And don't forget to have your notifications on for the PW Torch YouTube so you'll always know when Zach and Tyler go live. But thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye.